Hello and welcome to episode 10 of the Turning Base podcast. I'm your host, Bryan Redeker, and I am joined, as always, with my brother, Mr. Bryan Redeker.
Yeah, so we're back in the
Bryan?
Hangar Talk shop, double digits today, episode 10. Wow, it's crazy. It seems like...
I know. It seems like we
how
just
did we get to
started.
episode 10 already? It seems like we've only done this like a few times already, and we're already up to episode 10. But, as they say, if you're having fun, time flies, right? So, episode 10 already.
Yeah, man, it does kind of seem to go quickly because it does seem like we just recorded our first one, and here we are at 10 double digits already. And, looking back, it was kind of interesting looking back at all the outlines that we've done, and we've covered a lot of topics. We've had some pretty awesome interviews. We had Jennifer from Grand Haven 3GM on here talking about community and the airport, which was awesome. And then we had Alex, which was a lot of fun, talking about private aviation. And then last time we had Pete on here talking about how he uses aviation for his real estate business.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, last week Pete gave us an incredible look at how he uses his Diamond DA62 to run his real estate company across the Midwest, and how he flies to different regional fields all over, so every single week he's out flying. And I've seen that aircraft as well flying, and it's pretty cool.
It is a beautiful
it's a
plane.
very unique aircraft indeed. In fact, I've seen it come into 3 Golf Mike when I've been out there, and it's very cool. It's like I said, a very unique aircraft, and it's fun to see. It's not something you see all the time.
No. Yeah, you can't miss it when it's flying around. It's a fun, unique airplane. So it kind of got me thinking about these last few episodes and these interviews, and what people have been talking about is to go, when people will go to plan their trip, they're going to an area, they're going to a new region. How do they decide what FBOs to go to? Who are they going to call? They're going to drop some money, right? And we just posted on the way to Oshkosh, there was a ton of airplanes here at Muskegon.
Yeah,
which was so cool.
Absolutely.
To see.
It didn't seem like we had nearly as many at Grand Haven as we normally get. They were in Muskegon this time around, but I tell you, we saw from Oshkosh's at the time of recording, it's still going on. It's kind of wrapping up, but we've most certainly seen through the social media channels how many aircraft are coming from very long distances. And I remember a few years ago, I sat next to this father-son team and they had I think it was a Cessna 140. It was a completely polished, bright silver 140. Things absolutely gorgeous. They were Canadians. They flew from Western Canada all the way to Wisconsin, and you could tell an aircraft of that type, you are going to be. That is a long duration trip.
Yeah, it is.
You are going to be making a lot of stops. It isn't as if that thing is going 500 miles per hour and you're like, I'm going to make one stop for fuel and restroom and be done. I remember them talking about how there are times in which the ground speed was basically zero. You're not making any headway towards Wisconsin.
Good airspeed
with that,
but
so,
not much ground speed.
No, and so kind of going back to your question, that is the $1 million question. Most flight schools and FBOs have a marketing means of throwing the money at the board, national ads and stuff like that. But if you're not visible to the guys there or girls, I'm just throwing that out in general, it's to the pilots flying a longer distance. How do they pick that airport to land at? So that actually brings us into what today's topic is, and that's breaking down the ramp dominance, how pilots find you before they land.
Yeah, and that is really important, especially, we're going to talk about Oshkosh because it's happening right now, and airplanes are coming and going. And, the interesting thing is being right on the water here is that depending on what you're flying, Oshkosh is a fairly straight shot from where we're at. But there's this big body of water in the way. So
if you are driving or flying, it kind of I wouldn't want to necessarily fly too far over it with one engine.
No,
and driving around it is rather dismal. I mean, you can put your car on a boat and take it there. And I remember talking with people who did that at Oshkosh. They came out to Oshkosh and they drove. They took the ferry, and they had seasickness the whole time. So I'm like, drive through Chicago, seasickness, fly single engine over the lake. I don't know. So, yeah, let me ask you the real question here, Brim. I've been trying to pick a place to land. When's the last time you opened up a physical paper airport directory
Yeah,
to look
right.
up a facility?
Yeah, probably when you could when $100 hamburger was really a $100 hamburger, when fuel was
Yeah,
closer to maybe $2, $3
yeah.
a
I
gallon.
was I was thinking. I'm like, those old books. We've seen them. Obviously you've been to FBOs. It's kind of Grandpa's archives of stuff. The airport directories and all that stuff. I can't imagine anyone using that today.
No, I mean, when you can have all of that on your iPad or tablet, phone, computer, whatever, why are you going to log all those books around? Now, it is always good, we'll say this, to have some paper charts and stuff as a backup, because technology is great, but technology does fail us. So it is
Yeah.
good. But man, those big directories, yeah, those they're sitting collecting dust at this point, so
Right.
that's not
Right. Yeah.
that's not a thing to rely on at this point. There are better ways that you can get information about different airfields, airports, FBOs, than going those old paper lists and
Yeah.
charts of just
Absolutely.
everything.
Right. Exactly, right. And so many operators, they treat their digital presence like a static yellow page book from the 1990s. Today's pilots, whether they're sport pilots, corporate pilots, just regular, general aviation pilots who fly for recreation, or their captains flying commercial. They're making the real time decisions using ForeFlight, Garmin Pilot, Apple Maps, Sky Vector, and mobile search. And say, I do a lot of flight sim
Yeah.
flying versus
Yep, I
full
do
scale. It's
too.
a lot cheaper to fly in the flight sim. But
Sure
I'll tell you
is.
what, when I plan cross countries or plan my flights, do you think I'm picking up a piece of paper to do that? No, I'm doing the same thing that the regular pilots are doing. I'm looking at ForeFlight. I'm looking at Google. I'm looking at Apple Maps. I'm using all the tools I would normally use if I was going to be driving to a new city and wanted to stop along the way. I would treat flying the actual aircraft, flying in a flight sim, or just driving in a car exactly the same way. Nobody's picking up that piece of paper.
No, and there's so many websites out there. Another fun one to play around with that I like is like Fly to Lunch, right? See, if I want to go
Yeah.
X amount of distance, who's
Yep.
got a restaurant at the FBO or the
Yeah.
airport that I can land, go get some food? So if you're going to do some planning, there's a lot of tools out there online to help you with that. So you kind of have to remember that there are these tools out there, and that's what people are using. As Alex kind of reminded us a few episodes ago, sophisticated high net individuals, they're not just picking a place. They're going to do some research, right? Everybody should do their research, right? So they're going to they're going to go to those places, find out what's in their range. Is this a 1 hour leg, 2 hour leg, 3 hour leg? How many nautical miles am I going to be traveling? And then they're going to be looking up okay, what airports in that area, and then going to their website, looking to see what's the runway, what's the fuel, what amenities are at this particular site to go, am I going to land here or am I going to land there when I'm traveling cross country?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And this goes back to what we established in episode 7 about owning digital assets instead of just renting vague attention. So your local search profiles and digital airport entities are not just technical website details. They are your operational assets that you own and control. You got to think about them as an asset you owned, right? We talked about that over and over again,
Yeah, we have.
owning it, not just renting it.
Yeah. So, if you're, let's break it down just a little bit. So what are they actually going to be looking for when during their flight planning? And we've talked about these things before, but it's so important. And so we're going to break down a couple of these things that we haven't totally covered in other episodes. Some of it is going to be a refresh, which is great because you got to have these basics down, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're exactly right. When a pilot pulls up your profile, they're looking for operational friction reducers. That sounds pretty complex, but let's get down. What is, basically, they just want to make it easy. So do you have an updated photo of your ramp in hangar space? Just a ramp picture can go a long way, especially if they're coming and going. They're just coming in for fuel, food, things like that. What are your exact fuel type and fuel hours? If they are flying at night and the FBO office is closed, can they still get gas? And what type of fuels do you have available to you? If they got a turboprop or just a normally aspirated engine, or if it's a jet, do you have courtesy cars or rental cars available? I think Uber and things like that have kind of helped do that a little bit.
It
But
has.
it's important that they know that going into it. That say, hey, if I land at this airport, they have a courtesy car available at the FBO that I could run and grab a sandwich or run into town or whatever. Or, hey, they
So true.
don't. I'm going to have to they have an Uber service that is nearby. And I'm going to go that route. You're
Yeah.
going to make your decisions kind of based on that. And then, is there a clean pilot lounge, Wi-Fi, conference room for passengers, things like that? I remember there's one in the FBO in Muskegon. The restroom there has little toothbrushes, toothpaste, little deodorant. Like they have all those little things. It's like that seems like kind of a silly thing to have, but it makes total sense.
It
And if you're
does. It
picking out
really
your
does.
flight and you're going to land, and you're like, oh man, I can kind of refresh and clean up a little bit after a long flight, brush my teeth and stuff like that. And for getting back on the plane, those little things will go a long way to attracting pilots to your office in your
So true.
airport.
Pete kind of talked about some of those things and how important, especially for him in flying, going to a meeting for a couple hours, coming back to the airport and flying out, how important courtesy cars, because even a
Yeah.
rental car can be challenging because he's like,
Hmm.
I don't want to pay for a rental car for an entire day when I need it for like 2 hours. That's all I need it for is I need to get there. It's a 2 hour, it's a 1 hour meeting with some drive time, whatever. And so sometimes they have to like land further away so that there is a place that does have a courtesy car. So then they have to
Yes.
spend more time actually driving again, which kind of sucks. But being able to after a flight, as Pete actually said, center yourself,
Yeah.
freshen up a bit, go into
Yep.
that meeting 100%, crush that meeting,
Absolutely.
and
Yep.
then go home, right? That's what you're trying to accomplish there.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a hard reality that every FBO owner and flight school operator needs to be write down. FBOs don't always win, right? It's the easiest FBO to find that often does. And these little extra details, having an area for them to kind of freshen up, clean up, a courtesy car. Is there a rental car place that delivers to the airport
Hmm.
that's kind of says, yep, we're used to working with that airport. A 2 hour rental is like totally what we normally do. That's within their range. Those little things matter, and that can make the difference between an aircraft landing at your facility or landing at the one 20, 30 miles away, because they have the amenities that make it easier for the pilot to use it.
Well,
And
yeah,
that
and
that can make the difference right there.
yeah, and if you have those, call it out, right? Talk
Absolutely.
about why we have these things available so that when people, they're searching a distance away, right? They're traveling in.
Yeah,
They need to know these things. Great.
absolutely.
If
Yep.
you have them, even better, showcase them. Talk about why you have these things, what separates you so that you can do it. I know Pete talked about one time when he flew for a vacation, they landed, and as soon as they landed and parked, a golf cart came right up to meet them to be able to take him and his family and all the baggage back. He's like, he didn't even have to like walk to the FBO. He's like,
Yeah,
shortly after they
those
landed,
things
and
matter.
he's like,
Yep.
yes, I'm on vacation now. Like it is vacation time. I have landed. I don't even have to carry my bags across this hot tarmac. Like we're here. Let's just start vacation.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. Yep,
those
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 things matter.
things do matter. And yeah, a lot of these places they have amazing people on the ground. They really do. And experience, service, it all matters. And you want to showcase, get those wins, so that every time people look up your website, go to they find you, they're gonna see this stuff and they'll be like, yes, that's the airport, that's the FBO I want to go to because they have these things. It fits my mission. And when they touch down your runway, it's ready to go.
Yeah, so here's your practical homework for today. When this episode ends, pull out your smartphone immediately. Search for businesses and your airport field exactly the way an out of town corporate pilot or prospective flight student would. And I think that's important. You have to frame yourself as if you are the pilot or student pilot flying to your airport.
Yeah.
How would they find it? What would it look like when they bring it up, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is the look and feel? How are you presenting yourself to them?
Yeah, again, and we have mentioned this multiple times, and we're doing it because it is so important. Because I think as sometimes I look online and look at some of these websites, I'm like, oh, this doesn't look like it's been updated in like 10 years.
Yeah. Would you
What's
stay in a
going on?
hotel that like they have not updated the pictures in like, 10, 15 years and things look run down and there's like, would you stay there? No. Would you land it at an airport that's the same way?
Yeah,
Probably
yeah.
not.
So look at it from somebody else outside of your organization to see what does it look like? What message am I conveying? If you go to the website, can they find this information quickly? Like, who are you? What do you do? What's available if I'm coming to your airport? Because those are the things, and they're going to make those. I think we talked about 10 seconds before they make some of these decisions when they're looking on a website. So it's not very long. So you want to have this information easy to find. And readily available so that people don't have to keep hunting and pecking and be like, where maybe it's under this tab, maybe it's under no, make it simple, make it easy for people to find.
Yeah, exactly. If you pull up your profile and realize that the digital front door is leaking high value revenue, don't worry. There's ways to fix that, right? So head on over to readymarketing.net right now and download the free aviation business toolkit. And we have designed and engineered a step-by-step marketing system specifically designed to help local aviation businesses dominate their regional airspace and capture premium clients predictably. You could fix this, and we are going to help you fix it.
Yeah, and that's what this podcast is all about, is helping you. Like, we keep talking about these things. We've had interviews, and we have a bunch more interviews already lined up, which I think is going to be fun as we continue to do these things. And so, we're here. We are here to help you, and that's what this podcast is all about. So keep staying tuned, but I think now let's switch gears slightly.
Is it time for the news?
I think it's time for the news.
Oh, very awesome. I'm so excited. I'm waiting all day to talk about news.
I know, right? And
so, yeah.
It is the week of Oshkosh. So actually, when this comes out, it's going to be right at the end of Oshkosh, but that's all right. But there have been so many news articles. Like, you go, because everybody waits to Oshkosh. It's the big thing. Sun and Fun and Oshkosh, those are the big ones that people really come out with a lot of information. So we're gonna switch gears a little bit, and we're gonna cover the news a little bit. Couple of articles that we found kind of interesting and thought it would be really good things to talk about on here. So Brian, why don't you start us with the first story?
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's go ahead and that's the thing, is just trying to digest all the information that came out of Oshkosh and try to turn it into. I mean, we could have an entire podcast episode on every one of the subjects that came out and is still going to be coming out. This is still in process, right? So the first one we want to hit on is, I think this is a pretty exciting one, especially for flight instruction and airports that have a flight school and looking to get different aircraft. And we've been to some airfields before, and some of the aircraft are looking a wee bit worn. So Cirrus has announced a clean sheet trainer aircraft. They unveiled the TRAC 10. It's a purpose-built 3-seat trainer featuring a turbocharged Rotax engine, very modern Garmin avionics. That is kind of awesome for a trainer. And the third seat designed specifically for observational student learning. So if you think about the old school Cherokee 140, right? They took the back seats and just threw them in the trash.
They
don't need those anymore. It was kind of designed to be kind of that trainer, but you lost the ability to kind of have that observational seat in the back, right? Well, Cirrus is kind of, taking a new approach to how to do this. And the Cirrus SR22 is a fantastic trainer, but it is not an inexpensive trainer at all. It's a very sophisticated, high-end aircraft. Western Michigan University, which is the local university around us that does flight school, they have been using the Cirrus for many years now. And this is an opportunity for smaller operations to have a Cirrus in their fleet and start training new pilots. And to learn on a Cirrus is a different type of flying experience than if you learn like on an old Warrior or Tomahawk like I used to fly, right? So this is a way more modern approach to teaching student pilots.
Yeah, it really is because even the Warrior that I'm flying, I mean, some of those birds got like 10, 13,000 hours on them.
Oh yeah.
They're well used, great trainer. But the problem is, yeah, like the Cirrus, it's expensive. Like to go out and buy a new Cirrus SR20, SR22, that's not cheap. So this is a good entry level. You get all the modern avionics to train on, which I think is important, especially if you're trying to go more commercial or private aviation, being a captain, flying like Gulfstreams and stuff like that. But to be able to do that, and I think even the entry level Archer is actually a 3-seater now.
That might be right, because I think the last time I was at Oshkosh, I went to the Piper display. This was a few years ago now. I believe they had what it looked to be a very stripped down version. The cockpit was very, very, very stripped down as well, but also it had a glass cockpit style, but very, very, very reduced in content in a very reduced aircraft. And I think you're right. I think it did have
really designed for that flight school.
If one of your glass cockpit screens goes kaput, do you put the inoperable sticker over it? Because if we've been in enough rental with steam gauges to know that the inoperable sticker is quite common. So.
It's very, very much so. Like, oh, that's not working today. Okay, well,
yeah. Sometimes it's just missing altogether. Like, oh, that whatever's supposed to go there is clearly not there. It's just gone. It's just a hole in this sort of panel where something was the last time you flew, but not there today.
Yeah, so. And I think we've also flying some of those older planes. The seat doesn't always go where you want it to go, and
no, I can attest to that. And both of us are very short. And the last time I was in one of the Warriors, the seat adjustment had become inoperable in itself, and the top of the cockpit was like here, and I'm like, yeah, cannot see. I had to look over the little corner of the side and just fly like
right.
This. That's all I could. That's all I could see of the world, because the seat was not functional. So, yeah, let's get into story number 2 here, and this is on fuel, and we've talked about fuel a little bit in the past, but there's been some new developments on this. Swift Fuels has massively expanded FAA approval for its 100R unleaded aviation fuel. So, making more and more of that move to unleaded versus leaded or low lead fuel. The FAA expanded its approval model lift for Swift's 100R STC to cover up to 1,200 piston engine models and over 1,600 aircraft types, with distribution ramping up around the country. So that is big news. Those are big numbers.
Yeah, they are.
1,200 piston engines, 1,600 types of aircraft. This transition to unleaded is happening.
Yes, it is.
Rather quickly.
Yeah, so this is huge. So obviously the FAA is getting behind this, right? There was the mandate of 2030, and we kind of said, is this going to happen? But with this article, that's huge. And I was reading up a little bit more on this 100R, and you can mix it with 100 low lead.
Interesting.
They can actually mix within the same tank. It's not a complete take one out, put the other one in, and that's it. They actually can mix a little bit. I kind of blows my mind. Again, that some really, really smart chemical engineers are working hard on this.
Does it smell like race gas, you think?
I hope so. I
don't know.
So.
I'm kind of intrigued. If those of you who aren't into racing cars, 100 octane race fuel is one of the most wonderful smells ever.
Amazing.
Maybe when the local airport gets one, I'll have to put a tank in one of the cars and go find out. You wouldn't want to do that with low lead or leaded fuel.
No.
With unleaded 100 octane, and it's probably about the same price as 93 octane regular car gas at this point in time, as that has become to the point
so expensive
of maybe I'll just bump right up to the 100 octane unleaded as well. Maybe I can get in there as one of those 1,200 piston engines approved for it.
Yeah, so really interesting. This is big for FBO managers and
absolutely.
The airport managers that are going to be managing the fuel, because this is gaining some traction. And I think we're going to probably within the next year, I think we're going to see actually Swift Fuels does have a map, a Google map that you can click on their website that actually shows the airports that have it.
Okay.
Which
Awesome. Yeah.
you can go there now. I was looking at it the other day, so that's kind of cool. It's an interactive. It's built on Google Maps, and you can click on which airports
That is
and
cool.
different places, so you can start to see where the fuel is becoming available. So I think this is huge, and I think this is definitely something that FBOs and airport managers need to keep an eye on. And people, I think, are going to be asking for this actually.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's get to our final story here as we wrap things up today, and that is the FAA just debuted Mobile Clearance, a new digital tool for instrument flight rules, departure clearances. So unveiled a fresh out of the EAA Air Venture Oshkosh, which is of course still going on. This tool lets general and business aviation pilots request and receive IFR departure clearances directly inside flight applications like ForeFlight and Garmin Pilot with just a few taps. And this, of course, reduces radio chatter as well. Very impressive. More and more things like Garmin Pilot and ForeFlight are becoming well integrated into the flying experience.
Yeah, and I remember, I think Garmin recently came out with, I forget which GPS comm system that they have, but they also have a text-based system that instead of the radio communication, the ATC can actually send a text information with all their clearance, all their information. So they're
that's awesome.
kind of expanding this, which, man, there are times where your radio isn't the best and it's hard to understand.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. So as somebody who has to monitor air traffic when flying RC aircraft, I can most certainly tell you certain aircraft, the radio communication is complete garbage, and other ones are the most crystal clear, and it can vary dramatically by aircraft and the equipment they're using. So having having a text option really is great for that. So
yeah, I think I think this could be big. I think we're going to see more of this. I honestly think we're going to see more of this text-based information being able to be transmitted quickly back and forth. And especially if you're picking up your IFR plan, they can send you it. You can make sure all your waypoints are correct, all your heading and altitudes. You can get all of your clearances quickly and verify it, and just literally hit go, and it's going to just load it right into your GPS system, and you're off. So
absolutely.
I think that's actually really kind of cool, especially as someone learning to fly. The radio still scares me.
Well, absolutely, it's one of the more intimidating things.
It really is
to do. And we listened to a lot of the Fisk arrival at Oshkosh, and radio communication can be quite intimidating. So I think that's it for episode 10 here. So why don't we go ahead and wrap this up, and we're going to catch you guys all on the next episode on Turning Base.
Yeah, so don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your team and other people that might need to hear this stuff. But that's it for this episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you next week.
Thanks for flying with us on Turning Base. If you found value in today's episode, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your team. Want more tips and tools for marketing your aviation business? Visit us at readymarketing.net. Until next time, keep your wings level, your message clear, and your altitude high.